verbal abuse, dependency, infidelity, and proper upbringing. A hidden chain of behavioral and emotional harm. Many of the problems we see today in family, romantic, and even social relationships do not appear suddenly. These issues are often the result of years of inappropriate behavior, harmful communication, unhealthy dependencies, and weak emotional upbringing. Violence is not always physical. Dependency is not always love. Infidelity is not always unexpected. And proper upbringing is not only about grades. Misunderstanding. These concepts can unintentionally hurt ourselves or others. 1. Verbal abuse, the invisible wound. Verbal abuse is one of the most common yet overlooked forms of violence. It can appear as insults, humiliation, blame, threats, mockery, shouting, comparisons, ignoring feelings, or even silent treatment. Many people say, "It was just words," but the truth is, words can build or destroy character. Example: imagine a child who hears phrases like, "You're so dumb, you always mess things up. I wish you were like your sister." This child may never be physically hit, but internally develops the belief, "I am not enough." As an adult, this can manifest as anxiety, fear of failure, or extreme need for approval. In romantic relationships, verbal abuse is also common. "You have no sense. Without me, you're nothing. If I really loved you, I wouldn't have done this." These words gradually erode self-esteem, and the victim either becomes aggressive or completely broken. 2. Unhealthy dependency. When love is confused with fear. Unhealthy dependency occurs when a person views themselves as worthless or incapable without another person. In such cases, the relationship continues, not out of choice, but out of fear. A dependent person fears being alone, being rejected, not being loved. Example: a girl who stays in a relationship despite disrespect or even infidelity might think, "If this relationship ends, I have no one." Or a boy who sacrifices all his life, friends, hobbies, and decisions for his partner. Initially, this may be mistaken for deep love, but over time it becomes suffocation, control, and hidden anger. Unhealthy dependency often stems from childhoods where affection was conditional, meaning the individual was only lovable if obedient. 3. Infidelity, the end of a wrong path. Infidelity is rarely a sudden decision. It is usually the result of years of poor communication, suppressed needs, dependency, or inability to resolve conflicts. Understanding the roots does not justify infidelity, but it can prevent. Repetition is not just sexual, emotional betrayal. Often occurs first when someone shares feelings outside the relationship. Example: imagine a couple who has lived together for years but never really talks. One feels lonely, but doesn't know how to communicate, and another person comes along who just listens and cares. That simple being heard can trigger a betrayal that eventually destroys a family. Many people who commit infidelity have never learned to express emotions healthfully or take responsibility for their relationship. 4. Proper upbringing, the starting point for change. Proper upbringing means teaching respect, dialogue, responsibility, emotional independence, and emotional literacy. A child raised in a safe environment is less likely to become violent, dependent, or unfaithful. Proper upbringing teaches a child that their feelings matter, mistakes are natural, saying no is a right, others are not their owners.
Example: a parent who says, "I see you're upset, let's find a way together," instead of shooting, is nurturing a healthy human being. A family that allows their child to hold an opposing opinion is raising someone who will not sacrifice themselves for validation in the future.
Conclusion: verbal abuse, unhealthy dependency, and infidelity are not separate phenomena. They are links in a chain often originating from poor upbringing and emotional ignorance. To cultivate healthier relationships, we must use words responsibly, distinguish love from fear, treat upbringing as emotional education, not only discipline and grades. Change begins at home, through conversation, listening, and respect. If we speak, love, and raise children properly, many emotional wounds never occur. 5. Practical steps. How to break the chain. Awareness is not enough. If behavior doesn't change, knowledge only turns into guilt. To break the chain of verbal abuse, dependency, and infidelity, start with small but consistent steps. 1. Take responsibility for your words. Before speaking, ask yourself, would this sentence hurt me if said to me? Is my goal to solve a problem or vent my anger? Small Blue Diamond simple alternatives. Instead of you always mess things up. This didn't turn out as we hoped. Let's review it. Instead of you don't understand anything, I feel like I'm not being heard. Safe words create a safe space. 2. Practice boundaries without guilt. Boundaries mean saying no when needed, expressing disagreement, being alone without fearing be. Unhealthy dependency usually starts with, if I lose this relationship, I lose myself. A healthy relationship says, I am complete. You are my choice, not my savior. 3. Learn to speak before it's too late. Many betrayals begin with long silences, not the allure of a third person. In relationships, we must say, I feel lonely. I need to be seen more. This behavior hurts me. Unexpressed feelings find unhealthy ways to be noticed. 6. Our role, even if we aren't parents. Upbringing isn't only the responsibility of parents. Our behavior serves as a model. A teacher who doesn't humiliate. A manager who doesn't shout. A friend who maintains boundaries. A partner who listens. Even if we were hurt as children, we are not doomed to repeat it. Awareness is the ability to choose differently. 7. Why do these patterns repeat? A deeper psychological look. The human brain responds more positively to what is familiar, not necessarily to what is healthy. That's why someone who grew up with humiliation may unconsciously be drawn to humiliating relationships. Someone who experienced conditional affection may confuse love with pain. Someone who was never truly seen may sacrifice themselves just to avoid being abandoned. Many of us, in adulthood, are replaying our childhoods. With one difference. This time, we think we're choosing. Small Blue Diamond awareness means understanding this sentence. What I feel is not necessarily the truth. Sometimes it's just a memory. 8. The difference between healthy love and a toxic relationship, a very impactful section. Healthy love brings calm, encourages growth, allows conversation, doesn't revolve around constant fear of loss. Toxic relationships are full of anxiety, diminish self-worth, are filled with guessing, doubt, and silence. Are justified with this sentence. I endure it because I love them. Red circle important note. If staying in a relationship requires you to shrink yourself, that relationship is not love, it's dependency. 9. Why do some people become violent? Most violent individuals don't know how to express their emotions, confuse anger with power, were unseen as children, so now they seek control. Verbal violence is often the scream of suppressed emotions, not strength. But here's a crucial point. Understanding the reason for violence does not mean accepting it. Empathy never replaces boundaries. 10. A short exercise for the audience, perfect for a live talk. If you're on stage or speaking to a group, this part has a strong impact. Small Blue Diamond asks the audience to silently answer these 3 questions. No need to say them out loud. When was the last time my words hurt someone? When was the last time I stayed in a situation purely out of fear of being alone? When was the last time I didn't express an important feeling? And why did I stay silent? Then say, this small awareness is the starting point of change. 11. If we've been hurt ourselves, what should we do? Many listeners carry this question inside. With this past, how can I build a healthy relationship? The honest answer, with practice, by asking for help, by learning how to communicate, and by being kind to yourself. We are not responsible for the wounds we received, but we are responsible for leaving them untreated. Alternative ending, deep and lasting. We don't marry people. We enter relationships with their patterns, wounds, and beliefs. If we stop normalizing verbal violence, if we stop calling dependency love, and if we start education with emotions, we create a generation that doesn't sacrifice itself just to be loved. Change may be hard, but repeating harm is a choice. 12. A hard but liberating truth. Many of us are waiting for someone else to change. A parent, a spouse, a romantic partner, or even a child. But the reality is this. As long as we play the role of the victim or the rescuer, a healthy relationship cannot form. The victim says, I have no choice. The rescuer says, without me, they'll fall apart. Both roles block emotional maturity. 13. What is emotional maturity? A simple, practical definition. Emotional maturity means taking responsibility for my emotions, not everyone else's. Feeling hurt, but not insulting. Loving without losing myself. Leaving when staying means destroying myself. A mature person doesn't shout to be heard. They speak clearly. 14. If you remember only one sentence from this talk, say this with a pause. Any relationship where you must abandon yourself to stay is not worth staying in. Many people stay for years, not because of love, but because they fear starting over. 15. An invitation to choose differently, call to action. Don't ask the audience to change their life overnight. Just say, one clearer boundary, one more honest conversation, and one no that's been stuck in your throat for a long time. That's enough to break the chain somewhere. 16. Final ending, emotional and lasting. We have the right to speak without fear, love without dependency, raise children without humiliation. If the previous generation didn't know how, if we were hurt, if the patterns were wrong, we can be the first generation that says, it ends here. And that is the bravest decision a human being can make. Professional summary for sociologists and psychologists. Verbal abuse, dependency, and infidelity form a systemic chain rooted in socialization, attachment patterns, and intergenerational trauma. Understanding these dynamics allows us to intervene at multiple levels: familial, educational, and relational. Healing is both personal and societal. By modeling respect, emotional literacy, and boundaries, we disrupt cycles that would otherwise perpetuate across generations.
Scars were born.
Tribe of New